Minnesota Vikings is what we're going to talk about today as we take a look around the NFL. 32 teams, NFL offseason previews, team previews continue here with the Vikings and Adam Patrick from Fansided, thevikingage.com. Adam, good to talk to you again. Thanks for doing this.
Of course. Thanks for having me back.
100%. Absolutely. All right. Let's start off with a question I didn't really think I'd be asking at this point in the season to any of my team contacts, but no new general manager for your team. What does that mean, though? Because most teams can't, especially at this point in the season, a couple weeks before free agency begins, most teams can't operate like this. Why can the Vikings operate like this?
Well, right now they have Rob Brzezinski running the front office. He's been with the team for almost 3 decades.
Okay.
And he's kind of been like the cap guru contract guy. So they're set in that area. And they also brought on, I believe, someone who used to work with the Seahawks. The name's slipping my mind right now, but he's also good with contracts. So he's been asked to focus on that. And Brzezinski's going to focus on all the other front office stuff. And I think Brzezinski's been someone who's negotiated contracts in the past as well. So it's not like he's entering, completely new territory. He's been with the team for a while. And I think the plan for now is to probably have Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores kind of make the decisions for the roster between free agency and the draft. There'll be probably some collaboration, obviously, because all the scouting staff and stuff is still there. Kwesi was the only, front office person they let go this offseason. So everyone that he was working with in the front office is still there. I would expect them to move on from a bunch of those people after the draft when they say they're going to hire a new GM. So whenever that person comes in, because the Vikings a lot of teams actually do this where, they get a new GM and then they move forward through free agency in the draft, and then they get rid of a bunch of people because, scouts and other like personnel executives are like in the middle of evaluating prospects and everything. So it wouldn't make a ton of sense to completely start over in, February.
It's a little late for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like even back when Kwesi was hired, they used a lot of Rick Spielman's, old staff to help with that 2022 draft, which was not great. So that could contribute to it. But yeah, it's an interesting position. I don't recall too many teams or any firing their GM and then waiting until after the draft to hire someone. Usually I believe the Jets did it with Mike McCagnon, where he was allowed to, do free agency in the draft, and then they fired him after the draft. So I can't remember the last time a team went into free agency of the draft without an official GM or someone who's, an unofficial GM who's like Elliot Wolf, I guess, in New England, who makes a lot of those personnel decisions. So yeah, it'll be interesting, and then Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores won't have many people to blame if they don't like the players they get, because it'll be their choices. So
yeah, I guess they got to look at it as, hey, this may be a good thing for us, or at least maybe that's the way I'd look at it if I'm Kevin O'Connell as the head coach. He's the last guy standing, correct? He's the one that's making the final decisions.
I think it's going to be probably more of a group effort between him, Brian Flores, and Brzezinski. I don't know
how much. If it's tied, who do you think wins the tie?
Probably Kevin O'Connell.
Okay.
I mean, I would think a head coach would have more say over a defensive coordinator, but Flores is also now the highest paid defensive coordinator in the league. So, and he has a scouting background. He started with the Patriots as a scout, and he's always been good with identifying talent. He's someone who won Van Ginkel. He won Blake Cashman, Isaiah Rodgers last year. A lot of guys they brought in on the defensive side of the ball have been, Flores calls, and they've worked out pretty well.
So when Mensah was let go, everybody immediately jumped at Sam Darnold, and I understand why.
Oh, what happened?
What's that? Yeah.
What yeah.
So what were the reasons that Mensah was let go?
I think drafting has a lot to do with it. They haven't really got any production out of any of their draft classes really, there's been some good picks. Will Reichard, a kicker. Um,
Yeah.
Jordan Addison has been pretty good, but he's got, his own problems off the field. Um, Dallas Turner from 2024 looks like he made some big strides last year and he could have a bigger role next season. There's, still plenty of uncertainty around JJ McCarthy. But he's still only 23, and I think it'd be foolish to give up on him right now. And then 2022, that draft class, just Lewis Cine, I believe, is out of the NFL. He was their first round pick.
Oh yeah, I remember that
Um,
one. Yeah.
and I believe he just got cut by like a UFL team. So that's how good his football career is going. Um, and then I think some contract things, letting making the decision. I think it was a combination of Kwesi and Kevin agreeing to make the decision to let Sam Darnold go, but stuff has
Sure.
come out afterwards, like they didn't think JJ McCarthy was ready to be a starter. And my thoughts are like, if you didn't think he was ready,
Yeah.
KOC, you're the quarterback whisperer. You're supposed to be the one who's let's keep Darnold. Or there was a plan too to try and keep Daniel Jones, and I think there's been a lot of talk about how they pretty much assumed he was going to come back. But he saw that he could have a better chance at playing with the Colts, and that worked out for him. I mean, he got hurt, but he still looks like he's gonna probably get a nice deal this offseason from the Colts, it sounds like, in free agency. But yeah, drafting was was pretty bad. Kwesi didn't come from like a scouting background or anything like that. He was more contract operations, cap stuff when he was with the 49ers front office, the Browns front office. So and he didn't really ever go to like, I think this was, like, the first year he went to the Senior Bowl, which is hilarious
Wow.
because he got fired the day after he went. And first year he went to, like, the Shrine Bowl and stuff, so,
Nice
like
timing.
yeah, and I think he missed the combine last year because he was sick or something.
Okay.
So and it didn't sound like there's any, like, tension between him and Kevin O'Connell or anything. It felt just he wasn't doing a good enough job, for, him to keep his job, and it felt like the Vikings preferred to keep Kevin O'Connell because I think a lot of teams, they'll move on from a head coach before they move on from a GM. A lot of times they'll give, like, a GM another shot because he's usually the guy who hires
Yeah.
the head coach, but apparently Kevin O'Connell is, a good talker probably and, convinced the Vikings owners to keep him instead of, Kwesi, but I feel like he's probably on the hot seat going into this season.
I
It's
find
gotta
that
be,
interesting.
right?
Yeah, because Kevin O'Connell. I think there's a lot of people outside of Minnesota who think he's one of the more young, rising, quality head coaches.
Yeah. Coach of the
That
year in 2024, right?
Yeah, and even last year, able to get the team to win a bunch of garbage games, but
Yep,
still, it's almost like Mike Tomlin esque,
yep.
where even if we have a bad season, it's not going to be that bad. So yeah, look, if I think we all know if Kevin O'Connell is let go, uh, there'd be probably 20 to 25 teams
Oh, yeah.
seeing if he'd be available.
Yeah, well,
So
there were those rumors last year, I think before the Vikings played the Rams in the playoffs. I think it was Jay Glazer that came out about how because O'Connell was in, like, extension talks or whatever, and there was something about, O'Connell or some teams might be interested in trading for Kevin O'Connell. I think, like, the Bears were a team that was thrown out there. Thank God they didn't do that. Well, I don't know. Jury's still out on them. They were good for a year, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think he's a good head coach. He's a good motivator. He's good at building a culture. Offensive wise, I feel like he might be a tad bit overrated. He does not like to run the ball. Gets very pass happy. He likes to run his system the way he runs it, which is why last year JJ McCarthy struggled quite a bit, and then later in the year, he quote unquote dumbed down the offense to fit more of JJ McCarthy's strengths by running, more bigger packages with 2 or 3 tight ends, running the ball more, running more play action, and what do you know, JJ
Sounds like what he did
McCarthy.
at Michigan.
Right, and he did well, but
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell was like, and they won. I think they went 5-0 in McCarthy's in their final 5 games, but Kevin O'Connell after the season was like, "We're gonna get back to, deep passing and big plays next year," so it doesn't sound like that's something he's gonna stick with, so it's
Huh.
more of like, "McCarthy, you need to fit my system or we're
Yeah.
gonna find somebody else," and that the who they're looking for this offseason, because 'cause they're gonna bring in somebody, but, like, are they gonna bring in someone to compete with McCarthy, or are they gonna trade for Kyler Murray or Mac Jones and have them be the starter? That's what we're all just waiting to see, I guess.
Yeah. The whole square peg round hole deal. That's not a good
Yeah,
thing.
but they did this offseason, they brought in, um, who's their they brought in their assistant head coach who the name's escaping me, but he's from the Dolphins. He was the Dolphins OC, for the last.
Bevel,
No,
Dolphins OC.
I can't think of his name right now, but he was in charge of their run game, so they brought him in
Okay.
to probably help out with that. They got rid of their offensive line coach. They promoted Keith Carter, who was the assistant offensive line coach last year, but he was the old Jets offensive line coach and Titans offensive line coach, and they were better at running the ball, I feel like, than the Vikings have been. So there's that. So we'll see. We'll see, but this will be his 5th season, and the Vikings have ranked at, like, the bottom 5th of the league in, like, rushing rate
Yeah, that's
every
not good.
every year, and if you're gonna win, like, look at the Seahawks. If you're gonna win in the
Yeah.
playoffs, you gotta be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
That's why you know Sam Darnold still did well, but he was in a good offense where they didn't put the whole offense on his shoulders. They had a good running game, even if it wasn't efficient, they still relied on the run.
Yeah, it sounds like it's even though they had a really good record and a good team uh, with Darnold in 2024. The fact is, if he didn't have the running to help him balance
Right.
things out, even last year, uh, they weren't going to go anywhere.
No.
So you could say what you want, but that's just the case. So yeah, that's definitely eye opening for me. And we will see because, like you said, they have to add a quarterback. So will it be a Kyler Murray type or a veteran to come in and
Right.
just in case things don't work out with McCarthy type guy? Yeah. What do you think about before we go into the offseason stuff? So, what else besides the quarterback, the uncertainty of the injuries? Because I know injuries were a big part of the team last
Yep.
season. What else was there? What was missing from these last 2 seasons?
Well, the offense, yeah, injuries were really big, especially with the offensive line. I feel like they had, like, I think I read, like, over 20 different offensive line combinations last year, which
Crazy.
is like
Yeah.
nobody's gonna play well with that. Like, it doesn't you could have Tom Brady back there and, like, you're still gonna struggle
Sure.
because no one's on the same page. Um, running the ball again was they traded for Jordan Mason before the season from the Niners. They brought him in to kind of be more of the power guy and take some of the load off of Aaron Jones. But I think Kevin O'Connell quickly realized that he didn't really like Jordan Mason because, like, the first 7 games of the year, Jones missed some games because he was an injured reserve, and Jordan Mason had, like, 60% of like, he played in, like, 60% of the offensive snaps, and then from, their final 9 or 10 games, Mason's snaps went down to, like, 30%. And this I think not being able to wasn't really a big threat out of the backfield as a receiver. He wasn't that great of a pass blocker, which are things that we've learned in the past that you kinda need to have, if you're gonna play in Kevin O'Connell's offense.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
We just talked on our podcast the other day, the Viking Age podcast. Um, my co-host Chris, he said he thinks Jordan Mason's going to get cut, and that surprised me because I thought Aaron Jones would get cut because he has a higher cap number. But I looked at the numbers and I was like, I could see it, I guess. And then on the defensive side of the ball, it's just I don't know. They didn't really. I feel like they didn't hit home a lot. They didn't come up with a lot of big plays as much as they did in 2024. There was a stretch there where they didn't come up with a turnover for a while. They had that one big game against the Bengals where they had like 5 or 6 turnovers, and that was for the first part of the year. That was like half their turnovers.
And what happened to Jefferson? Besides the quarterback, was there something else that just was not right with him?
No, I think it was mainly the quarterback. I think they just never got on the same page. I was actually writing today about Jalen Naylor, who's a free agent this year, and he actually probably had like the best connection with JJ McCarthy. I think I just posted this, like McCarthy had a passer rating of 98 something when throwing Jalen Naylor, and he had a passer rating of like 50 when throwing Justin Jefferson. So
yeah,
those two just weren't able to ever really get on the same page, and I don't know if it was Jefferson missed most of training camp with a minor injury, or JJ missing time during the season and not being able to get those reps. So a lot of Justin Jefferson's off-season tour he did during the Super Bowl has been about I'm going to get JJ, we're going to work together in the off
that's
season
good.
and figure this thing out, which is good. I like to hear that. He's a captain, and that's how he should approach things. And
Absolutely.
also he wants the ball more. So
of course, yes.
But I think just a lot of the things that they were able to do with Kirk Cousins or Sam Darnold in terms of like routes to get Jefferson open, for whatever reason, McCarthy and Jefferson were just never able to really connect. Which when you're paying your top receiver like $35 million a year, you got to figure that out. So
that's it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Speaking well, look, let's dive into it now. So 10 picks, looks like right now, including the 18th overall in round 1. The worst cap space in the league. I don't know if this is another reason why they have a new GM, but
yeah, it could be.
So taking a look, so really, it's interesting. I just interviewed what was it, Alex? That we went over? No. It was Jacksonville with Travis D. Holmes. I was just talking to him about how their contractual situation was bad because they had like there wasn't like a player on the team that you could have cap savings for, that you could cut and save money. There was nothing. They had kicked the can down the road with just about every possible contract. And again, another reason why they had maybe a new GM and that was a good thing for them, obviously.
Right.
But flip it to here, and even though it's the worst cap situation in the league, there's a lot of players, a lot of possibilities where they could make up a lot of cash. They have some hard decisions to make because a lot of these players that we're going to reference are good players that are producing for the team. So these are some hard decisions they're going to make. So let's try to dive into it then. Let's start there. Which veteran players on the team do you think stand the best chance of possibly getting cut, sent packing, traded, what have you?
Well, we're going to go with Ryan Kelly first, the center.
Ryan Kelly, okay.
He had 3 concussions last year.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And just to be nice and for the betterment of probably his life, he should probably just retire.
He should.
From football. And I think they save like $9 million if they move on from him. So, what has been thrown around a lot is restructuring Justin Jefferson's contract, just shifting like base salary and turning into signing bonus will and spreading it out will save like around $20 million. So that creates room. Javon Hargrave has been someone that's mentioned a lot as a cut. And that'll
Yeah,
save.
Hargrave has got 10 million savings, 10
Yeah,
million dead.
right. Yeah, and
I mean,
that'll.
Grenard's got, I mean, again, these are good players. Grenard,
Yeah,
nine dead, 12 savings. O'Neal, 3 dead, 19 savings.
yeah. I think they're gonna try and extend him probably and
O'Neal?
lower that cap hit. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been with the team his whole career, and he's been a captain and a big leader in that locker room. He's still pretty good.
Yeah. What about Hargrave and Grenard? Just extending,
I
or
think they're gonna cut not Grenard. They're gonna cut Hargrave, and either keep Grenard or try and trade him. I feel like because he's someone I feel like they could, they don't have a lot of options when it comes to training guys, but I think Grenard's someone. There's a lot of teams around the league who could use
oh,
pass rush.
absolutely.
And I think he's still under 30, but he's getting close to there. Can't do that with Van Ginkel because you'll have what a 17
Yeah,
million
he's
dead
yeah,
cap. But
that's not good.
he's a good fit for Brian Flores' offense, anyways. The other one is Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, yeah.
I believe he has like the third highest cap hit among all NFL running backs next
Oh,
year, and he's not the third best running back in the NFL.
that's 14.5.
Yeah, so
And he's got a $7 million savings there.
yeah, and
TJ
then
Hawkinson, what about
yes,
him?
yes. That's one where I think I'd be surprised if they cut him.
Okay.
Because they have Josh Oliver, but he's more of like a 6 offensive lineman. He can catch the ball, but Hawkinson's more like that Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz kind of more receiving type of tight end
True.
than Josh Oliver is. He did not play well last year. I think some of that also had to do with the quarterback. So I'd be curious to see, if things change, if he could do any better. But I could see them trading him to somebody. You look at a team like the Niners, who just lost George Kittle. He could go in that Shanahan offense. I feel like they'd be able to make use of him.
Yeah.
But there's some options. I'd be surprised if they just outright cut him. Because it looks like they would save like 9 million, but they'd also have 12.
Yeah, it's a big number. Yeah.
They could do some of these guys. They could do post June 1st, but they also have to get above water before that March start of the new league year, and I think they probably want to get more than above water. But
So you think they will cut Aaron Jones?
I thought they were going to, but then
That's right.
we talked on our podcast the other day that they might cut Jordan Mason and then try and get Aaron Jones to maybe like take a pay cut. Which I think that's what happened with the Packers, and he was like, "Nope," and then they released him. So I think
just redo his deal as possible.
Yeah, I think they'll probably try and do that first, and then if not, then maybe they'll cut him, and then they'll have no running back. They don't run the ball anyway, so
got a lot of picks, and yes, and they don't run it anyway. Cashman, he's a four savings, 4 dead.
I think he sticks around. He's
around.
Yeah, Flores likes him a lot.
Brendel?
Yeah, he'll stick around. He's a good
around, okay.
utility offensive line guy.
And Rogers is a good player too, and he's so he's fine.
That's an affordable.
Yeah, he's $4 million. Yeah,
top. He's their second corner, and that's very affordable. And the cap's going up too.
That's true.
So like, even some of these guys who look expensive now, like in a year, they're gonna look like bargains. And I feel like, and they would probably cut Jonathan Allen this year. But his contract is not set up in a way that they can do that.
Because they don't want to eat up 17 million.
No.
Okay.
So I think they'll move on from Hargrave. They have Jalen Redmond, who is a free agent this year, but he's a restricted free agent, I believe, so that they'll have like first say and everything. So they do have someone who they can bring in already to replace Javon Hargrave, and then Will Fries is the other one. I wonder if they'll maybe try and move some money around in his deal, because he's got like 4 or 5 years left on that, similar to Jefferson, where they can just move money around, like the Chiefs just did with Patrick Mahomes, and cleared a bunch of cap space. So they've got some flexibility. They can get above water probably in like 4 or 5 moves. So it's not as bad as it looks. Like, yeah, they
It
have no
never
cap
is.
space. No, like look at the Saints all those years where they were like
Yeah.
100 million under the cap every year, and then somehow they were able to get over it right just in time.
Yeah. Now, of course, it does preclude a team from spending big or
Yeah,
making a couple of big additions. But hey,
so you got to draft well.
yes, you do, which is what they haven't been doing. So, again, that probably is why they have a new GM.
Mhm.
So, all right. So let's talk about the free agents now. And starting on defense, you've got, well, Harrison Smith. Is he done?
I think so. The last game, if you saw any of it, it was like they took time for him to sub out. There were standing ovations. Like he was the last one to be introduced the day. Like he stayed after to take pictures with everybody. So I would put a pretty good amount of money on him not coming back. Although he does like Brian Flores, so um, I would I wouldn't be surprised if like they were like, "Hey, why don't you just, like, skip training camp
Yeah,
and
never
then
know.
come back at the start of the season?" Or, like,
Skip the first half of the
yeah, come
season.
back
Come back in the
mid-season
second.
after the
Yeah,
trade deadline or
that's it.
something. So, like, I could
Stay in shape.
yeah, I could see that happening, but I think it's yeah, I think and he also said when he retires, he's not gonna make, like, a big, like, announcement or anything, so if he's gone,
Oh,
he's gone, so we probably
okay.
will never know. I think Larry Fitzgerald did that, where he was just like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Probably liked it. Okay. Then also at linebacker, Wilson, Eric Wilson.
Yeah.
Will he be back?
If the Vikings can afford him, I feel like, he played really well with the Vikings this year, got Ivan Pace pretty much benched, who is also a free agent. Um, Eric
What did he
Wilson,
do
yeah,
best?
he was really good at blitzing, which is great in a Brian Flores defense because he just blitzes, 50% of the time. So he was able to come in and fit really well. So I wonder if even if he does maybe get an offer from another team that's more, does he stay with the Vikings because he knows he's gonna get playing time. He's a good fit. He can play well because he started with the Vikings as a UDFA in
Uh-huh.
2018, I think. Um, and then, he spent some time with the Vikings, and then he went to the Eagles, played with the Saints, and he played with the Packers right before he signed with the Vikings. So he's been around. He knows, like, right now he's probably just looking for, like, a good fit rather than a payday. He's not gonna make, like, he's
No.
not gonna get a big check. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just came back just for whatever amount of money the Vikings were willing to give him. Now he's not probably gonna take a lowball deal, but, I think he'd probably be more willing to work with the Vikings to come back other than some other guys.
What do you think happened to Pace? Because he seemed to come out really strong as a undrafted rookie,
Yeah.
and then it just hasn't. He hasn't been able to get that back.
Yeah, I think he did start off really strong. Was it 23? He came in and was a day one starter. I think that was also a year where Brian Flores and the Vikings didn't really have a whole lot to work with on defense, so they kinda had to make do with what they had. But he was impressive. He made plays, and then, last few years, he's made a lot more bad plays, missed more tackles, over pursued people. And then, you put a veteran in there like Eric Wilson and he does a lot better, then, you're probably not going to play Ivan Pace. I think Ivan Pace spent most of like the second half of the season on special teams, whenever he got on the field. So it was, it was, it was good. I enjoyed his, it was fun to cover him as like his rookie year and be like, well, look at this kid. He's really good out of Cincinnati, but over time, you learn why he probably went undrafted, which is
Sure.
he's a little smaller, so he can get, bullied around, and he hasn't really gotten any bigger or anything like that. So, yeah, I think just their guys were better, and the Vikings are gonna go with the players that are better.
Corners. There are
Yeah,
three of them:
yeah.
Moreau, Akuda, Thomas. Do they really care about any of these guys coming back?
Maybe Tavier Thomas because he's a like a special teams ace, I guess. if there's a category for that.
Sure.
So he's one I think they might bring back, and he won't cost a lot. Jeff Okuda, not
Yeah,
coming back.
it's enough of him. Yeah.
And I think he got 2 concussions last year.
Oh, wow.
So he's got his own concussion problems, and then just whenever he was on the field, he wasn't good anyways. I have no idea. He was the number 3 pick overall, right?
He
The
was
Lions back in the day.
yes.
It just
Lions.
Just never really worked out. And then
No.
Fabian Moreau is someone that's been like a Flores guy. They had him last year too. They brought him in midseason this year. So I don't think they're going to re-sign him in the summertime or the springtime, but he could be someone they probably maybe pick up next year if they need more cornerback help.
Yeah, I'm sure they can get it. He's 32 now, so
Yeah,
he'll be cheap.
Not going to cost a lot.
They're going to bring back their punter, right?
I hope so. He had a really good year last year, and I think a lot of people forget too that he's also the holder. So that's those kickers and long snappers are weird about that continuity thing.
Oh, yeah.
They don't like different people coming in. So and punters aren't known to be very expensive.
Nope.
Neither are long snappers. So I think those 2 are free agents, and I think those 2 will probably be back.
And DePalma, is he one of those deals where he's just gonna keep signing 1-year deals until he wants to retire in 10 years?
So he's like 37. He's
39.
He's getting up there. He's not helping the Vikings, average age. But
well,
Harrison Smith's leaving, so maybe that'll help. And Adam Thielen's not there anymore either. But yeah, I think he'll be back. He's been with the team for a while, and him and Wright and Will Riker seem to have a good thing going for the kicking game.
Was the special teams okay? Not so good?
Kicking was good. Punting was good. There was some blips like in the Bears game when they played the Bears at home in US Bank. They took the lead late, and then they gave up like a 40 or 50 yard return on the kickoff. So the Bears only needed like 10 or 15 yards to score, and they did.
That's great. I remember that. Yeah.
So there's been some blips in coverage, and that it sounded like, at least in that instance, it was just kind of people going rogue. So only so much a coach can do.
Yep.
And that's going to happen with special teams because you got a lot of like undrafted guys and inexperienced guys who are just trying to make a name for themselves. But
that's
overall,
like one of those situations in that game that you get like when you have 2 teams going in opposite directions for the season. Yep. When a play like that happens, because like say next year that won't happen and the Vikings would win and the Bears would lose.
Right.
But that's just that's like that was a sign early on that the Bears were having a charmed season.
Oh yeah, and if the Vikings won that game, I believe their Week 18 game against the Packers would have either been for a spot in the playoffs, or they would have still had a chance to win the division. So
that's crazy.
Just that one play is all it takes. I mean, I know we hear it all the time. It's like a game of inches, but it really is.
Okay, offensively, CJ Ham, is he another one of these guys that O'Connell just likes and he'll just?
He already announced his retirement.
Oh, he did. Okay, so they're in the market.
They don't need a fullback.
They don't need one. Okay.
They don't run the ball.
That's true. Yeah.
They could just
he was making like $3 million or something.
He was.
Like that. That's like, come on.
He was a Pro Bowl fullback.
Yeah.
He was really good when they had that Dalvin Cook back there as like a workhorse.
Yeah.
But once Kevin O'Connell came, there wasn't really a whole lot he did. He did a lot on special teams. I think he was like the special teams captain with Kevin O'Connell. But he's already announced his retirement. So he's enjoying life, and I don't think the Vikings will look for a fullback. If they need someone like that, they can probably just use Josh Oliver in the backfield.
Sure. Okay, wide receivers. You mentioned Naylor. Is he going to be back?
It depends how much he costs. Because I've seen some projections. I think The Athletic had him like projected to get a contract like over $12 million a year. If that's the case, no. But then I looked at PFF.
What was that amount? I missed it. What was that
amount? $12 million a year.
12 million.
Yeah, that's what The Athletic said. And I was like, if that's the case, I don't think so. But then I looked at PFF and it was more like 3.5 million a year. I was like,
Yeah, that's a big difference.
that
Yeah.
sounds a lot better for a guy who caught like 30 passes for 400
Yeah.
yards last year.
Yeah. It was interesting though when McCarthy had some of those games where he would go to Naylor
He
at the
did
most
that.
critical times.
That was the guy he trusted the most for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because Jefferson was triple covered and Addison was double covered, so Naylor had like nobody on him.
It worked.
Um, it did. So I feel like if the Vikings want McCarthy to, continue to move forward or even move forward at all,
Uh-huh.
bringing back someone like Naylor, who he's already like built that kind of connection with,
Sure.
would be a good idea. And I think if he's affordable, if he
Yes.
doesn't cost 12 million a year, then I think yeah he'll be back. But he could also, he's 26. He could easily probably be like a number two somewhere. So if he doesn't want to be a number three behind Addison and
That's
Jefferson,
true.
then you know, then he's gone. I think a lot of people assume he's gone, but um, so it's not. It wouldn't be shocking if he leaves. But and he bulked up last year too. I think he put on like 10 pounds of muscle or something. Um, so yeah, I could see him just going somewhere just because the opportunities. Just to get more playing time because he's he can only be in the NFL for so long, so you might as well make the most of it.
Yeah, this is his first contract, so first big one, so
Right.
or hopefully big one for him. Okay, then what's the latest with Rondell Moore?
I'm pretty sure he tore his ACL in the preseason.
Is that a second one?
Yes. Yeah, he hurt the other knee the year before. There was no like official diagnosis, but everyone pretty much assumed it was ACL. Um, and then this year he this past summer or whatever he tore, I think the other one. So I think they're probably good on him. His career is probably there you go, Frank Smith. That's what we're talking about.
That's it.
Yes, yes.
Thanks,
He
Brandazzo.
did have a fullback. He's right. Okay, all right, all right. Maybe they'll do that, but as I've said, I need to see it before I can believe it with
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell.
Okay. Offensive line. School's a good lineman to have around.
Uh,
Not as a starter,
no.
but he's a good swing guy to have around.
Yeah, I mean
So
Blake Brandel played like every position last year, and I felt better about him than Justin School on the outside. School was more like a turnstile pretty much last year
so
when
Brando
Darisaw.
could play on the outside as well.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And then even Donovan Jackson, if Darisaw gets hurt, can go to the outside because he did that at Ohio State before he was drafted, where I think it was Josh Simmons got hurt, and so he moved to the outside.
So you
For
think they'll
them,
let him go?
yeah,
I
I
mean, he's
think
a
so.
tackle, and teams will overpay for tackles. You
Oh
know
yeah,
that.
I just
So
wonder because they have Walter Rouse too. Um, I just wonder
okay.
if bringing him back is, and they got a new offensive line coach too, so I don't know if he has his guys that he wants to bring in. There might be some differing opinions there. So,
So still Rouse is
yeah,
part of the future as a potential swing.
I would think so. At least
Okay.
he'll at least get to compete in training camp. I would think.
And they're not bringing any of these quarterbacks back. It's just going to be Brosman and McCarthy, right?
Carson Wentz, I think, has a shot. They liked him a lot last year. I did not, but they did. They liked him. They liked his. You know, you look at JJ McCarthy, who was hurt a lot. They liked Carson Wentz's toughness, even though his arm was like dangling off against the Chargers, and they still kept him out there.
Yeah. Some of those throws last year were
Um, but he did have a better connection with Justin Jefferson when he was out there, and Jordan Addison. Just felt like he's been in the league for a while, so he knows how to run an offense
yeah.
better than someone who's in their first year.
I
But
guess
also,
it will come down to Wentz or they go out and get a veteran. They just signed a veteran
I think
out.
they're probably. I don't think Wentz is their first choice. I
Okay.
think they would probably want to get someone. They're going to probably call the Niners about Mac Jones. See what is Kyler going to get cut. I don't think they'll trade for Kyler because they don't want that contract. They can't afford that
That
contract.
is true. Yes.
Um, And there's some other guys too, like Kirk Cousins, who might be out there.
Is that really a
Uh,
possibility?
it is.
What would be the what would be the roadblocks of that not happening? Are there any?
Money.
Money. That would be the main thing.
That's
Everything
that's
else
that's
is
Kirk
like,
Cousins' thing. He needs money.
yeah, like he does. I know, like he doesn't
And
have
he's
enough.
got and he's there's already stuff out there that he's already getting his leverage ready because he's ready to tell teams, I got CBS over here wanting me to do TV, so I can just go there if you don't give me, what I
Yeah, he
want.
won't be with the Vikings then.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I hope doesn't happen. But then there's guys like Joe Flacco to Mariota, who Kevin O'Connell is actually Mariota's like personal quarterback coach when he was preparing for the draft. So they have like a relationship that goes back quite a bit. I think he would be interesting because he's a former, number 2 pick. Um, he did pretty well last year when he played for the Commanders. I don't think he would cost a lot, and then he's got
Yeah.
a similar style to, like, McCarthy in terms of, like, athleticism and stuff, so I could see someone like Mariota coming in.
Yeah.
But I
That
just
would be a good
wonder
fit.
if they're gonna bring someone in because I've seen people throw around, like, Malik Willis too, and I'm like,
No, come on.
Malik Willis, 1, they're not gonna be able to afford him because he's gonna try and cash in, and
Oh
then
yeah.
he's not gonna go anywhere where he's probably not gonna be the starter.
No,
So
you're right. It's like, why would he do that? He'll just stay in Green Bay.
and then, if Tua gets cut, absolutely not.
Okay.
1, because Brian Flores is the defensive coordinator, and that wouldn't really work out very well. And then just I watched Tua a lot last year, and he was just there's a reason he got benched. He's just
Yeah.
for something's going on, or he's just not good. I don't know if it's his injuries or
Yeah.
whatever, but he can be a backup somewhere else probably. The Jets will make him their starter or something. I don't know.
Considering that he can't win in temperatures of 35
Right.
degrees
He's
and
got to go like
yeah,
the
warm
Raiders
weather
or
or a
something.
dome. Oh, dome. Okay. No, he ain't gonna fit in Minnesota. Okay, so those are the free agents,
Yep.
and I don't think we hit any. Oh yeah, we to bring these guys back. We talked about that. Okay, so let's get into another question before we get into the needs. Are there any players, offensively or defensively, any young players, not necessarily draft picks, but young
Right.
players that are ready to take another step in their development, and that could be bigger contributors in 2026
Next year? I think I mentioned Jalen Redmond, who he's exclusive rights, restricted free agent, so, like, he's not going anywhere. But he led I think he was, like, one of the top leaders in the league in, like, pressure rate last year.
Yeah, had a good year.
So he's definitely coming back, and next year will be his 3rd year in the league. He's an undrafted guy out of, like, the UFL.
Yeah.
So
He's a part of their defensive
yeah,
plans, definitely.
he's been
Yeah.
awesome. Dallas Turner, I think, is gonna take that next step. He had a really good second half of the year last year. That's one where, like, I th he last year, I think he would make a trading Jonathan Grenard more believable because he filled in for both Grenard and Van Ginkel last year, and he was much better in, like, the Grenard role of more pass rushing because Van Ginkel drops back into coverage a whole lot more
Okay.
than Grenard does, and Dallas Turner did awesome when he was in replace for Grenard, so that could be something where they move on from Grenard either this year or maybe at the trade deadline next year and give Dallas Turner the reins. I'm curious to see what Ty Felton does next year. He didn't get a whole lot of, look last year just because the Vikings had Naylor, Addison, and Jefferson, but, if they don't bring back Naylor, I mean, that's a big opportunity for someone like Ty Felton to step in, uh,
Absolutely.
and make a difference and not just be a gunner, which you don't draft gunners in the 3rd round.
No, you don't.
That's what he
I'm
was
sure
last
they
season.
saw the writing on the wall with Naylor, and that's why
Yeah.
he was drafted. So
And then, Xavier Scott last year was kind of the running back was a bit of a surprise. He made the team as a undrafted, I think it was his second year, 'cause, but he was still I don't think he made an active roster in his career.
Man,
Um,
wow.
yeah, right. Um, but he was good, running the ball and catching out of the backfield. And then Ty Chandler's gone this year; they're not bringing him back. So I think that's an opportunity for Xavier Scott, and then whatever they do with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, I do think they'll probably draft a running back. Um, I'd be pretty annoyed if they signed one in free agency and spent what little money they have on a position they don't really use.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense.
Because I've seen a lot of Vikings fans be like, "Oh, they should get Brees Hall or
Oh,
Travis
please.
Etienne," and I'm like, "No, they."
Every fan base says that.
I know, I know.
And it's like all 30, like 28 other fans. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, let's get Brees Hall, FTN, and
he's going to whoever gives him the most money. Okay, and that's not going to be the Vikings.
yeah, well, Hall ain't going anywhere. So Jets are gonna give him
And I'm
the
pretty
money.
sure there was something about Keith Carter, the Vikings offensive line coach now, who was when he was with the Jets. The Jets players didn't weren't too big fans of him, and there was some stuff about like Brees Hall commenting on social media about not being the biggest fan of Keith Carter. So I don't think he'll want to work with him again.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's now get into top needs. So, is there a definite number one need, or are there two or three needs, and it can be any of those that would be considered, their top need?
I would say a corner comes up a lot, but Brian Flores, with the way he plays his defense, there's not a whole lot of like pressure on the corners because the quarterbacks have to make a decision so fast, or else they have a defender in their face because he's just blitzing everybody all the time. Um, but I would put safety in there because Harrison Smith's. We're assuming he's retired.
Yeah.
Then they have Josh Metellus. Um, they liked Theo Jackson, but he didn't really, and they thought he was going to be better last year with Cam Bynum gone and him getting more playing time, but he didn't really make the most of it. Jay Ward had some moments last year, but I don't know how comfortable they feel about him being in there. So yeah,
Okay.
I think
Safety.
safety. I just saw Minka Fitzpatrick might be traded, and I could see maybe the Vikings trying to get him. Also, you need to be able to afford him, so
That's
that's another
true.
thing. But the funny thing with him is he was in Miami, and Flores came there, and Flores didn't play him like the way he wanted, so he asked for a trade and got traded to the Steelers. And
Yeah.
then Flores worked for the Steelers in 22 as like
Uh-huh.
the linebackers coach, defensive assistant, and Fitzpatrick was on the Steelers.
Uh-huh.
I was just doing some research the other day, and they both said like, "Oh, there's no hate or anything. Like we're good. We could work together." So I wonder if like things have been amended, and that would be someone he'd want to bring in because I feel like that'd be like a perfect replacement for Harrison Smith. But again, they have to be able to afford that.
That is true. So it sounds to me that there is not a definite number one positional need. Let's take a look at the
Quarterback? No.
let's take a look at the this was our mock draft a couple of weeks ago,
Oh,
the very first one. So are they way off on this one?
I don't think so. It says he's going to move inside as a guard.
Yes, that's true. Correct.
They did just sign Will Fries last year to a big like 5-year contract. He didn't live up to it last year, but there's still potential, and they drafted Donovan Jackson. So if they got that kid from Miami, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to keep him at tackle because Brian O'Neill's getting older. Christian Darrisaw last year hit with his knee still there's a bunch of uncertainty. My God, he's a big boy. 6'6", 335 pounds. My God. But Darrisaw, like there was times last year where he would play and then he'd take himself out because he hit like his snap count. So like there's some uncertainty there, and then like I said, Brian O'Neill's getting older, so I could see them taking a chance on the tackle. Um, but that's just are they going to draft guys that they can wait on this year, or are they going to draft guys that can make more of an immediate impact because Kevin O'Connell, might be on the hot seat to get in the playoffs and actually win a playoff game for the first time. So that's
That's
something
true.
That has to be taken into account too. I don't know how much time they have to wait for guys to develop even for a year in this draft. And this draft isn't really full of, I feel like, a lot of guys who can make like immediate impact. Maybe there are, but from what I've seen so far, like
No.
there's a handful of guys, and then there's just guys that could probably be starters for a bunch of years, but they're not. There's no Micah Parsons in there or guys like that.
Yeah, there isn't like, of course you got the quarterback situation, but yeah, there isn't like that superstar like he is going to terrorize
Like Jeremiah,
opponents.
I guess Jeremiah Love could be like someone like that who can make a difference pretty easily. Caleb Downs too.
Yeah, Caleb Downs. It's really Downs. It's according to our guys, it's these four here. These four. Well,
Yeah.
everybody knows Mendoza, so
The
it's Downs.
Jets drafting a safety in the top 5. I bet gives a lot of people fun memories of Jamal.
I don't think that's going to happen. I look. I think everybody loves Downs, but I'd be surprised if it's not Baines.
Yeah, it's a safety.
Yeah, especially knowing. I think that look. I think people will gravitate there because of Aaron Glenn and his defensive backs, and again, I think Jet fans would love Caleb Downs. But yeah, I think you do have to if you need help up front like the Jets do, you got to go the Reuben Bain. I think so. But I think, but our guys seem to believe that it's Reese, Downs, and Bain in whatever order.
Okay.
Those are the 3 guys, including Mendoza, and then there's a little gap. So that's it. I think these are your guys that they believe are like your premier guys in the draft. So it's not a big group. But hey, we know that a few other guys will definitely pop up as they always do.
Combine's coming up next week.
Yes, it is. So we'll have our lads will have another mock draft shortly after.
Nice.
Okay, so then so again with no specific need, number one need, we'll throw in just the generals. So safety. What else do we got?
Running back.
Running back. That's definitely there. Running back. Okay.
Maybe tight end. Just depends what they do with Hawkinson. I guess you could do off-ball linebacker with Eric Wilson. Maybe not coming back. And then maybe interior defensive line. Just someone who can rush the passer, but just depends on what they do there too. It really just depends on what they do for free agency before their needs. But I think the way their roster's like set up, they don't have what they need is depth. Like they were so impacted by injuries last year because they don't have a lot of good depth.
Well, then they should probably keep all their picks then.
They should, but also like if you don't have a GM, do you just trade all your picks? Because
well, actually, I would think the opposite. I would think because you don't have a GM, they're not going to be they're not going to be tied in as easily as say a GM would.
Right.
And it would be, and plus when you like we talked about the coach says, hey, this is my opportunity to pick and so I'm going to pick as many guys as I can.
Even Flores, like if he gets credited with some of the guys and his guys do better than O'Connell's, it could be like, well, you can get rid of him.
There you go. Well, that's you would. I mean, is that really what it's about? Is if O'Connell does wind up for whatever reason he does wind up getting fired, Flores just moves into the lead role.
I don't know because Flores has that lawsuit against the NFL.
So so even in Minnesota with Flores there, you don't think that they would take a chance?
If he got fired mid-season, I think Flores would become the interim, but I don't know if they would want to keep him long term. Just because there's still behind the scenes rumblings of him rubbing people the wrong way.
I hear you. Not a smart move by him.
Not liking the way he coaches. That Belichickian military style.
And that's true too.
It works. I think he's gotten better since he left the Dolphins, working with Mike Tomlin and Kevin O'Connell and realizing like, hey, I don't have to like yell at these guys all day long. But I don't know how he treats his staff either. Like a bunch of the Vikings defensive staff left this offseason. Like they lost Durante Jones. He's the new DC with the Commanders. Their defensive line coach just went to the Cowboys.
Hmm.
And I think there's a couple other guys too. But so like he's lost a bunch of coaches, and I don't know if that was more like those guys just taking bigger opportunities rather than just getting away from Flores because I don't think that was
Were they
100%
with
the case.
Flores the whole time until this off
Um, some of them
season
were.
in Minnesota?
Some of them were. Durante Jones was with the Vikings before Flores got there, and he stuck
Okay.
around. And he got a bunch of DC interviews this year too before he got the Commander's job. But yeah, Flores, as much as his defense is doing, like I thought he was a lock for the Steelers job. As soon as Mike Tomlin got fired, I thought like, oh, that's perfect. He was already there. They know him. And then he did get an interview, but then even the Steelers were like, we're not gonna test. We're gonna
Yeah.
hire Mike McCarthy instead.
Yeah. Right. Okay. There's one more question before I let you go, but
Yeah.
safety, running back, tight end, if they let Hawkinson go in some fashion, same thing with off-ball linebacker with Wilson, same thing at edge with guard, which all that stuff makes sense. So follow, of course, the dominoes with free agency.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is there just is not a major need outside of really running back. To me seems like
That's probably the biggest,
yeah.
Especially if they move on from Aaron Jones.
Yeah. I mean, even if they, I guess, yeah, unless they hold on to both of these guys, but
I don't think they will.
You don't think they will?
No.
And they need a running back that can,
like a burner.
It'd be also good if they don't get like, look, the thing is once you get through to Love, then it's like, I was looking at the board. It's like 2 through 10 on our board is interchangeable as far as the running backs. It could be anybody.
I like Jadarian Price. I was watching some clips of him the other day. I like him a lot. He seems like a burner type, but then I looked up some of his stuff and he fumbles near the goal line. I'm just having flashbacks of Adrian Peterson in the 2009 championship game fumbling the ball. But yeah, they need someone who can just hit the hole, just go like Jahmyr Gibbs style, just break away.
I think Nicholas Singleton might be a good fit because Singleton is an elite pass pro out of the backfield.
That can be good, yeah. Like it seems like they're looking for a Dalvin Cook ever since they got rid of Dalvin Cook.
It's usually the way it is, right?
But he hasn't really played anywhere since they let go.
No, he hasn't.
He played with the Jets for a little bit, but he didn't do anything.
No, and then that was it. It was done.
He was with the Ravens for like a playoff game, I think.
It happened so fast. He wasn't even
old. Yeah, now I think he's only like 31 right now.
Something like that. Yeah.
His brother's killing it though.
It's probably one of those situations where he probably doesn't love football.
And Mike Zimmer kind of ran him into a wall. He was getting like 300 carries a season, so
that can hurt. Look, the same thing happened to Le'Veon Bell.
That's true. Yeah.
He had like 400 carries a year for a couple of years, and then he was gone. The last question, I know it might be everybody's first question when they talk to you, is J.J. McCarthy. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people outside Minnesota, fairly or not, that will look at what happened last year and watching him play and be like, oh, there's just no possible way. He's not ready. It's got to be someone else. How fair is that?
Oh, it's fair. You look at his numbers last year, they were historically bad compared to, a lot of first-year starters. But a quarterback struggling in his first year, especially earlier on quarterback, is not something new.
No.
We saw that with Drake May, we saw that with Caleb Williams, we saw that with even Bo Nix. Seen it with a lot of guys. Sam Darnold, like Baker Mayfield. I guess he didn't struggle his first year; he struggled after. But like Josh Allen, like all those, there's an endless amount of guys who have struggled in their first year. McCarthy's also 23. Just had a kid. Like there was a lot going on last year, coming off his knee injury. There was a lot going on last year. And then like I think Kevin O'Connell like just getting frustrated with him not being able to do what he wanted to do in his offense. But I wouldn't give up on him. Yeah, like he's 23. You still have 2 years of his rookie contract, then you could pick up his 5th-year option, so you might have 3 years of control left on him. Um, and even if you bring someone in, they beat him out to be a starter. Let him be the backup. Let him learn. Like in 3 years or 2 years when his contract runs up, he's 25.
Yeah.
Like he's still got a lot of career left, and I think just throwing him to the side of the road after struggling his first year, which the Vikings were 6-4 in his 10 starts. Um, they beat the Lions on the road, they beat the Bears on the road when they had their full teams. And he had some other good wins too. Um, so they beat the Cowboys on Sunday night. I know their defense was terrible, but still like under the lights and everything.
Yeah.
Um, so like he had some moments last year. Like I think he just gotta fix that connection with Justin Jefferson. Um, it's easier said than done. Stay
Mhm.
healthy, and then just go from there. And Kevin O'Connell needs to help him out, not put the offense on his shoulders. Don't there was a game against the Ravens last year where he struggled a lot, but he dropped back like 46 times. What are you doing?
Yeah, especially where he came from.
Yeah,
It was exact opposite.
and
He
I
was
don't
more of a game manager in
right.
Michigan. Not to say that that's what he was going to be in the NFL, obviously, but that's what he did at Michigan.
And anything that says like, "Oh, Kevin O'Connell didn't like him or it wasn't his choice," is completely wrong because he was heavily involved in the quarterback process. He like individually worked out every guy. So if McCarthy was who they drafted, Kevin O'Connell signed off on it. And if he can't
Yeah.
get him to go, then that's on him too. So all this stuff, like there was some stuff, when Kwesi got fired of like, oh, it's because he picked McCarthy, and it's like it wasn't all Kwesi. Like it's a group effort here. Like
Yeah.
you hired the QB guy to develop a quarterback, and it didn't go well. So
Yeah.
whose fault is that? But no, I wouldn't give up on McCarthy. I think I wouldn't mind if they brought in. I would prefer them to bring in someone like a Mariota or a
A
Flacco.
veteran who
Yeah,
can start.
who can push McCarthy, who McCarthy should be able to beat in training camp, but who can also fill in if McCarthy gets hurt. Because if anything has shown his first 2 years, it's probably going to happen. I would prefer them to go that path rather than trade for someone like Kyler Murray or Mac Jones. Like if they could get Joe Burrow, great, but that's not going to happen.
No,
Um,
not at all.
even the Bengals aren't that dumb.
No.
So
Joe
there aren't.
Burrow, yeah, right. I mean, you get a quarterback that actually wants to be there.
I don't know about that, but
Well, he does.
the money helps. The money helps.
Of course, of course, it
But no,
helps that.
I feel bad for the kid because he's a kid, and I'm old now. I'm 37. But like even this offseason, it's all been like bashing on JJ McCarthy. Like there was stuff about that came out the other day about like the Vikings took out some of their middle of the field routes to help him, and I'm like, oh, they fixed the offense so he could play better.
Right.
Oh no,
Yeah.
like
I
it's
know it's like this over like and
and
the other
he went to Michigan and they did the cheating thing, so I think that has a lot to do with it as well, where it's like,
he was part
oh,
of the cheating championship
yeah,
team.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
probably.
it's a lot
That
of it.
makes sense.
He's a little, he can be cocky at times. He gets that mean mug,
That's okay.
but yeah,
That's what you
it's
want.
like people love it when Baker Mayfield does it. So like,
That's right.
what's the problem? Like just because he's first year and he's having fun, like I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what else happens. It's going to be a long off season. I'm sure there'll be more come out in the combine next week when all the agents and GMs get a little truth serum in them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because like you said, we've seen enough of the glimpses to know that once if those glimpses become the norm, then you've got something really
Yeah,
special, which is why you draft these quarterbacks early.
and help
Uh,
him out. Like,
yeah,
just because you can't run your off, like Kevin O'Connell's known for calling pass offenses that have like long developing routes. You need your quarterback to stay in the pocket, which is why Sam Darnold got hit so much when he was with the Vikings and why, Kirk Cousins got hit a bunch because you got to stay in the pocket, wait for those routes to develop. Hey, maybe change your offense to like get some quicker plays. I know it's not what you want to do, but it might, don't you want to win too?
That's
Like,
it. You're right.
but he's coach of the year, so
little ego.
What he knows goes.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, those are the sort of things that you have to do. And look, I think they'll be just fine if I just hope he stays healthy. I just hope he stays healthy and he gets a legitimate chance and the team stays healthy. The offensive line stays healthy. But yeah, it would be nice if he had a running back. It would be nice if they could have a little bit of balance in that backfield, because it's interesting. He comes from the McVay tree like every other coach, and McVay runs the football.
Now he does, yeah. He runs a lot of this. Like the last 2 years, he's used a lot more tight ends.
So he's adapted. Yeah, he's exactly. Right. So that
look at your buddy. He's doing it. You do it. Kyle Shanahan, like obviously comes from the Shanahan Kubiak system when they run the ball a lot. So
yeah, and maybe in the last couple of years too, maybe that the whole idea that is gone out the window of everybody throwing the ball to win games, win Super Bowls, and that's changing. So you have to adapt.
Yeah, it always goes back and forth. It'll go back to passing.
Eventually. Well, I think we're all happy that the running game is back. Too much of the passing was just driving everybody nuts. But it's nice to have balance in the league. It's nice to see the running game coming back again. Adam, great job as always. I really do appreciate your time talking about the Vikings and educating me on what is going on, including, of course, our audience here on the Ourlads Football Network and ProLine TV. I look forward to talking to you after the draft, unless there's some sort of blockbustery move that I just
they're going to hire the GM.
And to follow all of that, you'll have to go to the link in the description of this video where you can check out where to find Adam and his work, which he'll be on top of it when it happens.
Oh, absolutely. So, thanks for having me on again. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Adam. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Adam Patrick, thevikingage.com. Once again, links in the description of the video. You can check it out, and we'll definitely be talking to Adam once it's all over, or pretty much over, the offseason. That happens right around after the draft. So it's going to be quick. Free agency's in a couple of weeks. And then about, 6 weeks after that, we got the draft. So a couple months, we'll be talking to Adam again, and then we'll find out exactly if Minnesota had a prosperous offseason. Of course, again, there's a lot of draft capital. Unfortunately, there's not enough money right now. Completely different cap situation from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was able to conduct that interview with Alex Kozura from Steelers Depot. So if you want to find out what's going on with the Steelers, you can check that out in the library already here at ProLine TV. Because they have, I think, over $40 million in surplus. So you're talking about like an $85 million difference, almost a $90 million difference between just what's on the books right now for Minnesota and what's on the books right now for Pittsburgh, because that's all going to change. And just is going to be interesting to find out exactly how it changes if you're following the Minnesota Vikings. But this is going to be a very interesting season for Minnesota, and a very interesting offseason as well as they get ready for the season. So safety, running back, those appear to be two of the biggest needs for Minnesota going into the offseason. But again, a lot of this is going to have to come about after free agency. So follow that, and then you'll follow the breadcrumbs after, and you'll be able to, mix and match accordingly. You can also check out the Ourlads draft guide, link in the description of this video. So you have to have the Ourlads draft guide. You've got all 32 teams covered, of course, and there are team pages and write-ups on all the team needs, which is why I grill these guys, all 32 of them. Now, I don't do all 32 team reports for Ourlads, but I have done enough over the years, and I'll be doing at least 5 this year. And I've conducted 4 out of the 5 interviews. So Fred Greetham will be with me to talk about the Cleveland Browns in hopefully next week or 2. And then I'll have all 5 of my team reports ready to go, where I could start writing them up, sending them into the office, and having them publish it with the draft guide coming out in early April. So you want to make sure to order that. Link in the description of this video. And if you like going to Ourlads, but you're frustrated by the ad pop-ups and things like that, click the link in the description that says Ourlads Insider, just for a few dollars a month, no ads. Plus, there's some bonus content they provide you too. So if especially if you really love Ourlads and you constantly surf Ourlads, but just can't stand to block ads, you got to get the Insider. It's a must. So check that out in the description area of this video, and all the videos that I conduct for the NFL offseason, at least at this period of time. They're all offseason interviews. I'm working on a few other things, and I'm going to let you know all about that, especially football related, not necessarily related to the draft, because we're going to be doing more draft videos too. The combine again is coming up next week. So there's a lot going on with Ourlads. Again, another mock draft report will come out real soon after the combine. But I'm going to be throwing in some pre-draft videos, and I'll be doing a lot more of those, especially once I'm done with all the interviews. That should give me a good month, hopefully, before the draft, and then I'll be able to just do tons of videos for the draft. It'll be March Madness will be over. And that month of April, boy, that'll be a great month for football fans gearing up for the draft and the remnants of free agency. So that'll give me time to put some really cool stuff together. But I do have a project I am working on right now, and I'm keeping it secret for now. It's not for everybody, but I am going to, and it is football related. So when I'll let you know about it soon enough. And I'm pretty stoked about it, but it's a long time coming, to tell you the truth. It doesn't mean I'm going to not continue to do what I do here with all of the different videos and shows and sports. That'll all stay the same. It's just another add-on. Like I don't have enough time messed up in my days to just not add another project, but I'm excited about it. Before I go, Grandizer, let's see, Grandizer, you're welcome as always. Yeah, I got to tell you, Grandizer, in another life, I would be a GM. I actually went to college right out of high school in South Florida to become a general manager, and I was too young, and I suck. That's why I say to myself, I suck, because I was too young. It wasn't my fault. I just was too immature, and not in a bad way. I was just too immature in the world, and I was leaving home from New York to Florida, New Jersey to Florida, and I just wasn't able to handle it. I had my first girlfriend, and it was terrible. I just couldn't handle it. I was there for like a month, and it changed my entire life. I know that if I was more mature when I was younger, I would have went to college. I would have stayed at that college, and I would have learned to be a GM, and I would be one today. 100%. I know that, but that's, the decisions we make when we're younger. It just is what it is. So yeah, I try to play fantasy sports like everybody else, and that's the closest I get. But anyway, as far as my NFL team, how could you even need to ask? I mean, how many different, I know maybe I've got too many thingamajiggies behind me here, but it's all sports related, and there's only one football team for professional ranks behind me. So you check that out, and it's pretty easy to tell. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. And let me pop this boy up, because he needs to remind you to subscribe, like, and share. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for college basketball. Should be about 8 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll get you ready for a big weekend in college basketball. We talked college basketball earlier today on the Playbook ATS podcast. So we're going to start talking more basketball on that show every Thursday at 1 o'clock. So we did, as a group, talk about the big games, including Michigan Duke. I'll talk more about those games. And, of course, a more variety of games, including some top picks this weekend. I'll let you know if I have any championship or Final Four futures. That'll be tomorrow night right here on ProLine TV. Other than that, unlike last week, I do not suspect I will be having any weekend football offseason reports. I didn't know I was going to have them when I signed off last week during the week. So you never know. I mean, I could pop up with a Saturday, Sunday report like Denver and Carolina this past weekend, but I certainly hope not in a way. But if I have to do it, I'll do it. But I could really use some extra time to do some of the other things I've just been talking about. So anyway, I'm out of here. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again. Let's see, when is our next one scheduled? Actually, I don't have one scheduled right off the bat. I'm just realizing that right now. Let me just double check to see when our next scheduled. We have one for Friday of next Friday, a week from Friday. Alex Insdorf will join me from the Chargers Guilty as Charged podcast, the LA Chargers. So again, that is going to be at 4 Eastern. Indianapolis Colts, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Tennessee Titans. And then hopefully we'll also be hooking up after that with the Bears, the Rams, Seattle, Las Vegas, Buffalo, New England. And I think that'll round it out. So I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone. And I will see everybody next time right here on Proline TV, the Ourlads Football Network.